Hold on to your butts. These are the Squashbuckler Diaries. Welcome back. My name is Guy Hasson, and you're listening to the Squashbuckler Diaries. And before we get to it, just an update on where I am from the last episode. It took me 8 minutes or so to record the last one. I've been sitting in the car, and the teenage couple has been walking. During the first episode, I recorded like 2 episodes ago, they walked towards me and passed the car. Last episode, they walked towards me and passed the car. They're somehow going in circles, like in a time loop, or like if they could walk in circles and not straight. And now they just passed me again, and it isn't. I'm glad to report this isn't Groundhog Day, because this time they had their arms around each other. So this is not a Groundhog Day. I repeat, this is not Groundhog Day. Probably just normal teenagers. Just letting you know. And now, we are at episode 34 of the Squashbuckler Diaries podcast, where we see a fantasy heroine growing up daily. Season 1 is ages 2 to 6. Season 2 will be ages 6 to 9, and so on and so on. Between each season, you get a book. Book 1 will be called The Forgotten Girl. Guess who that is? Joy is the Forgotten Girl. She is lost in dreams but doesn't know it yet. And so far we watch season 1 is when she is all innocent and doesn't know she's in the dream, doesn't know there's anything unique about her. She just goes up in her father's dreams. So, speaking of being innocent and having fun, she is now aged 5.5, and we are the third episode in a row, part of an adventure with the Red Dragon, with female dragon, a dragoness. Her best friend watches over her, although she doesn't know it, and who tells these little snippets of her life during season 1. So they are off to, well, you will see. They're in the middle of an adventure. Do listen to the 2 earlier episodes, and now we continue. Episode 34, Do Dragons Have Jokes? Joy's age 5.5, told by the Red Dragon. We were flying side by side. Dragon Little, my favorite human in the entire world, was sitting on the back of my neck, and Dragon Father, the best father a little dragon could have, was flying beside me in his pirate ship, Bonny's Revenge. We were on our way to meet the villain behind the flying flies, the villain from which they had taken Bonny's revenge. We were not flying fast. We did our best to enjoy the company. I made sure to spread my wings just below the ship and to keep my head at deck level so that Dragon Little, Dragon Father, and I could talk. Red, Dragon Little shouted over the wind. Do dragons have jokes? I am sad to say that all dragons are enslaved. They're not allowed to have fun, I said. Okay, then I'll teach you one. Okay, I smiled. I've been watching them from afar at all times. I've seen Dragon Little's jokes. I knew what was coming. Knock, knock, she said. Now you say, who's there? Who's there? You. Dragon Little did not explain what I had to say, but I have already heard her say this joke 100 times. You who? You who? Why are you calling me, Red? I'm right here. I nodded in the air. That is very funny, Dragon Little. See, Dad, Dragon Little shouted at her father. Red thinks my jokes are funny. That's very strange, Dragon Father shouted back. I heard her say it was funny, but I didn't hear her laugh. She was laughing on the inside, Dragon Little added confidently. Right, Red? Of course, I lied. Dragons laugh on the inside. Great, I'll tell you another joke. I'm sorry we're putting you through this, Red, Dragon Father yelled. It must be torture. This time I did laugh. I enjoyed their company so much. Shut up, Dad, I'm telling jokes. Dragon Little went on to tell 15 more knock-knock jokes. I never laughed. They were all bad. I enjoyed every second of it. Told by the Red Dragon. Hashtags Joy, Justin, the Red Dragon, Joy's Jokes, knock-knock jokes. And if you go, by the way, to guyhasson.com and you look up the tags, you will find it is slightly, it is like 200 stories ahead of the podcast. So you will find, if you look up the Red Dragon hashtag or, any hashtag we come across, you may find more stories that are relevant in Joy's life. Also, think for a minute about the scope of what we're talking about. I plan to do this for many years, and Joy will say she grows up to be 25 or 35 or whatever age she finally reaches, or 95. No spoilers, so I can't say what age she'll get to. Imagine she's 50, for example, and now you look at Joy's jokes at the hashtag, and then it sends you stuff about her jokes when she was in knock-knock jokes, when she was a kid, whatever jokes happened when she's older. If you look up the Red Dragon, you will see her, the different arc the Red Dragon takes over time with her, if the Red Dragon survives that long. Anything you want, you will have Joy's entire life tagged, and you can just look it up. So usually I say you can't imagine the scope of this podcast and the books yet. But hopefully maybe this helps you see that we are tagging an entire life. We are showing you an entire life, building a life of an of an epic fantasy heroine from age 0. And it is true that we haven't covered ages 0 and 1. But eventually we will. But possibly not in the Squashbuckler Diaries, possibly in the books, when we get to it. So, knock-knock jokes, an adventure with Red. It's not over yet. And, Red comes only once a year to play with them, to save them, to whatever, as you'll see when she comes back again. But they take their time with her, and the adventure's coming too. So listen to us tomorrow as we continue this adventure with the Red Dragon. And now, that teenage couple just walked again, but on the other side of the street. I don't know about you, but it amuses me. It amuses me that they walk in circles. Anyway, and now, the credits. The Squashbuckler Diaries are written and read by me, Guy Hasson. If you want to know more about the Squashbuckler Diaries, check out the website, guyhasson.com, which is GUYHASSON.com. The theme music is called Brass Gentleman and is by Thomas Herudek. I will talk to you again tomorrow in the dream. Ahoo! Okay, sorry about that. She was laughing on the inside, Dragon Little added confidently. Dragon Little added confidently. Dragon Little added confidently. Confidently.